Hi, my name is Paige, and I am the Agent Support Specialist for Micah and Hamoudi Murwat. As a part of the Murwat family in EXP, you have access to an abundance of extra training and support. So don't forget to visit the workplace group, the Ultimate Expansion, as well as going to murwatenterprises.teachable.com to gain access to all of the courses that the Murwats have put together to help you to grow your own real estate business. In order to receive these courses for free, you can choose which course you want, click it, select Enroll Now, and here you will add coupon code Agent Partner and apply. As you can see, it will zero out and you will not be billed for these courses. They are all available free of charge to our members. Today I'll be talking about how we use Trello to organize and stay in front of our agents. Trello is a web-based app that helps you organize your own EXP group into lists so that you can see exactly where agents are in the process of joining EXP, as well as to help keep in touch with them once they onboard. I do want to first note that the free Trello app does have limitations. So you may want to go ahead and purchase the business class, which will open you up to a lot of additional customization. It's about $10 a month per user. This is Micah's Trello board. As you can see, you create lists within the board. And then within each list, you create what is known as a card. For Micah's purposes, she's made lists including Paige's task list, which is a list of my daily activities here. And then there's my weekly activities as well. Then she has a list for hot leads, agents within the applications phase, agents within the onboarding phase. And then once they've onboarded, she has 7-day follow-up, 14-day follow-up, 30-day follow-up. She also has, this is for Micah and Hamoudi, so she has Micah's FLQA, which is the frontline qualifying agents, and then Hamoudi's as well. A list for monthly communication, a list for her non-qualifying agents, and then a list for agents who are on their way out. And then within these lists, we have the cards. The cards are how you can keep track of information on each individual agent. So for instance, we have a sample card here, and this would be my sample card. If I was an agent and I was in the application phase, here I am, my name, you can add a description, you can add a location through power-ups. You can add custom fields, which is another power up. If you look over here, you can see the power ups that we use to help customize our cards. Okay, so custom fields that I've added here, a date for when I join EXP, a birth date, a drop-down box here where I can select Micah or Hamoudi, as the sponsor. I put a date for expiring for the FLQA so you can keep track of when your FLQA agents expire so that you can offer them help if they need anything to continue to stay in the frontline qualifying category. I also have a couple of buttons here that I've added through Butler. And with these buttons, I can, with a click of a button, make certain things happen, which I'll get more into later. But one thing I've added is buttons for whether the agent is on fire, which means they're doing everything that they could possibly do to be as successful as possible as an agent in EXP, or they're doing well, which means they are doing, you know, the basics of what they've been led to do, basically. So they are showing effort. Maybe there are a few extra things they could be doing, but they are on the right track. And then also, if an agent is maybe not utilizing the tools that Micah offers or is not showing much interest in educating themselves or using the tools EXP has to offer as well, then there's the needs to step up. And this is just something we like to do to kind of categorize the agents that are really, really trying versus not doing so much to make things happen for themselves. As Micah likes to remind everybody, you are the CEO of your own business. And as a member of EXP, you own your own real estate business. So while Micah can offer all of these tools to you guys and extra training, it's really on the individual to make that happen. And Micah really likes to reach out more to people that she sees on fire, that she sees really trying to make the effort to swim towards her. Then she will reach out that hand. Now, obviously, this is just for our personal knowledge. We aren't trying to be hateful in any way by categorizing the agents, and it's not necessary if that's not something you feel that you're comfortable with doing on your own. So, like I said, these boards are fully customizable to basically be whatever you want them to be. This is just how we have ours set up. So we also have a drop down menu here where we can select whether this agent is capped or uncapped. Okay, the next add-on that I did here, another power up, is Gmail by Cardbox. And what this is you can connect your Gmail, like whatever message you've sent to this agent, you can connect the URL. And then you can see those messages pop up inside the card. So you can see what's been sent, like the welcome email that I send to each of you when you join EXP. It shows that I sent it right here. And then the cool thing is you can also email that agent directly from the card. So basically I would just select reply, change the subject line to whatever new subject we're doing, and then I can email them just checking in to see if you need help or whatever it is that you wanted to send. You can send it right directly within the box. And you can see I received that email. And then another power up that we've added is a contact list. So it's called Conta List. And what that does is it allows you to create a contact list of your agents and you can add them here. If you go to more details, it's going to bring up all of the information that they have on this agent. So including you can connect social medias right to the list. So you could connect to their social media right within your Trello board if you wanted. All right. It also will show that card inside the contact list as well. Shows the phone number, the email address, and then you can add an organization and really customize that as well. Down here, we have the activities. So every time something happens within this board, you're going to be logged so you can go through and see exactly what's happened within each board. You can also write a comment and tag somebody. For instance, if I needed Micah to know something and I didn't want to take the time to text or email, I could tag her and write the comment here, and then she's going to receive a message within her email that I tagged her in a comment. And so she can communicate with me there as well. Coming back to what I've touched on, which is the power-ups and the butler. Those are the two things that we've utilized to customize our board. So again, you can add power-ups, search through and just read about your options here. I'm doing a basic instructional, so I'm not going to get into what each of these power-ups do because there is plenty of online training. If you YouTube Trello power-ups, you're going to learn a lot about how to use the power-ups individually. So that's something you can really look into on your own. I'm just showing you the ones that we use so that you can see how we utilize them to customize our own board. That being said, there are up here where it says show menu, there are the power-ups listed here that we use. So the ones that we've added are the map power-up. We don't really use the Google Drive, but we did add that one. The custom fields power-up. Slack we don't use as much. The calendar power-up. Gmail by Cardbox. Conta list, and then list limits. So what list limits does is you can add a list limit to each card, or to each list, I should say. And what that does is it just gives you a counter of how many cards are within each list. So the way that I use that the most is to keep track of their FLQAs through EXP Enterprise, to know that whatever it shows as how many frontline qualifying agents they have in Enterprise, I want to make sure that it matches what I have in their FLQA lists. So that's one thing I use just to keep track of how many cards are in each list. I set the limit to 100. You can set a limit, more specifically or narrow it down if you want, but I just say 100 because all I'm interested in using that for is to show how many cards are in the list. Then we have the butler. So to create rules, which is going to be the automation within your cards, you're going to have to set up rules for what happens when certain actions are taken. It seems really complicated. It isn't. These are the list of rules that I have set. For instance, when checklist pages weekly activities is completed in a card by anyone, reset all the checklists on the card. So basically what that means is when I select all of the items in my weekly activities checklist as complete, what's going to happen is all of the boxes are going to clear for the next day automatically without me doing anything. So what you do with these rules is kind of up to you. I have a lot of them set up and I'm going to show you how they run on their own, but you have to go up here to create rule, add a trigger, which means what you do that causes the rule to happen. So you'll add your trigger. For instance, you can say when a card is added to the board, I usually select by anyone, and then you would hit the plus sign, and then you select the action that happens when that trigger takes place. So what happens, maybe when the card is added to the board by anyone, you want to add a label to the card. You would just select that. I'm not going to get too in depth here. Again, I want to keep this kind of time appropriate and then allow you guys to do your own research on how to utilize the butler and the power-ups on your own time. So now I'm going to give you an example of how we use those automations, exactly what happens. For instance, first thing I'll show you is what I showed you in there. Once I select all of these off, it regenerates on its own. So that's exactly visually what I was talking about when I told you the trigger activates that action. And then to keep track of agents, it's useful because once I have an agent in the application phase, we have it set to where if it gets moved into the onboarding process, a couple of actions take place. First of all, you notice my face, it popped up right here on the card. What that did was once Micah moves the agent into the onboarding process, it assigns me to the card so that I know that there's a new agent in the onboarding process. So that tells me I need to reach out to the agent and set up a time to onboard this agent. So when I reach out to the agent, what I do is I'll select the due date, whatever day we're going to do our onboarding Zoom call. Let's say we're doing it tomorrow. You can add a time in there as well, but just make sure you put the day and you'll save. And now I have the due date of our onboarding call. So that's step one that I do. Another thing that took place when she added me into this onboarding phase is that an onboarding template automatically generated. So when I do the onboarding call on the due date here tomorrow, what I'll do is after the onboarding call, I'll go through and check off these as done. And then I have it to where the rule is set that it automatically will move this card into the 7-day follow-up. It also automatically will add a due date 7 days out from the day I did that onboarding call. This all happens automatically because I set up these rules in Butler. Okay, so let's say that this due date of April 14th comes. I do my 7-day follow-up, which as you can see, the 7-day follow-up checklist automatically generated once it moved into this list. I check these off as I check in with this agent, and automatically it's going to then move my card into the 14-day follow-up. It's going to also automatically update the due date to 14 days from the onboarding call. And it's going to automatically, I don't know why it doesn't delete this. It should delete this one. It deletes all the checklists that were already in the card and it adds the 14-day follow-up template. And these are all things that you do have to set up initially, but once you have them set, you can see it just flows. Okay, so on the 14-day follow-up, I would call, check in on this agent, check through these boxes, and then what happens next? It is moved into 30-day follow-up. The due date changes to 30 days from the onboarding call. The 30-day follow-up checkbox is here. And once I complete this, nothing automatic happens because I then have to choose where the card goes next. So the choices here are, do I move this card into a frontline qualifying agent category, or is it just a non-qualifier? Okay, so from there I get to choose. And I've set it to where I put these buttons here to where it will automatically, if I select, let's say I'm Micah's FLQA, that's where I need to go next. It will automatically, once I push this button, move my card into her frontline qualifying here. And then I can add a label here to show that I'm Micah's agent and I'm blue here, FLQA. The other thing that I can do here now is to add an expiration date. So that's going to say, what day do I expire as a frontline qualifying agent? So let's just pretend that I expire June 1st. So what that should do now is sort the card. I had it set to where, yeah, it sorts the card in order of expiration so that you can see who's expiring soonest to who's expiring later. I also have it set to where if the expiration date, let me go ahead and remove this. If the expiration date is within that 14 days of whatever day it is, we're in April now. So let's say today is the 6th. If it's within 14 days of, if today's within 14 days of the due date is what I'm trying to get across here, it should message me that I have an agent expiring soon. And what it did is not only does it message me, but can you see it also added this sticker up here. So I will get a message saying this agent is expiring soon. And what I'll do is I'll check into the Trello board and I'll see which agent that is because there's a big clock up here. So I'll know exactly which agent is expiring soon. I can then reach out to that agent and see if they need any help with anything or if Micah needs to contact them for any reason to help them stay in that FLQA status. There's another button here where Micah can actually just click here, agent needs attention. And that will add this button here. And then see, I got a response from Trello within my Gmail account saying, please reach out to this agent. So that she can, within a click of a button, ask me to reach out to somebody right here in the Trello app. And then I log on, I see which one she's talking about, and then I can take care of them. Maybe she's made some notes within the chart. I'll check for notes here and see what's going on, and I'll reach out to the agent. Other buttons that I have here. So I have the non-qualifier. So if I select non-qualifier, what happens is now I move over to the non-qualifying list. And there's a non-qualifying label added here. So I also added a due date so that nobody gets left. So automatically, if someone moves into non-qualifying, it's going to send a due date or set up a due date for the 1st of the next month so that I can check back in with that agent. So nobody gets left behind. You can get as in depth as you want to. These are just the main things that happen on our Trello board. As you can see, I need to make a few calls here. They were due this week. And then if you miss anything, it will turn red. Also, it will notify you that you are, you have some things due. You can also go to the calendar power up here and see exactly what's due when. See, if I had more due dates set, then there would be more here, but this is just for us, what's due when. And it tells you exactly who you need to reach out to per day. So go and research Trello and how to use power-ups and Butler to customize your own board, and you can set up your own templates and your own cards and really get started keeping in touch with your frontline agents and your hot leads, and just utilizing this tool to make it more streamlined as you communicate with your team in your organization. I hope this is helpful. Remember to go ahead and follow us on Workplace Ultimate Expansion Group and keep up to date on all of the training available to you. Have a great day.